But this is the start of week 17 in our Framework for Faculty and Student Success course. And I just want to do this quick intro. We were having a conversation before I started the recording, but I want to continue that conversation after we do the little intro to what we're going to be mainly focused on in this lesson today. And as you can see here, Simon says, lift and secure the large wall frame on the second floor to construct your lessons. So I feel like there should be more about alignment in this and kind of how these uh, workers here are aligning this second level wall to make sure that it lines up with the first floor wall. These are uh, metaphors for what we're going to be talking about this week and focusing on alignment. So to continue, last week was week 16, and we talked about a new standard, the standard related to alignment. And this week we're focusing on making sure that the module objectives align seamlessly with the course level outcomes. So kind of talked about it last week. We had a really nice conversation in here, but then now we're going to actually go in and do the work of the alignment. And I know y'all have been working with Snowy, and she's all about that alignment. And so I'm sure a lot of your stuff is aligned, but we're also implementing some new college-wide learning outcomes. And that's the work of some of our work groups. We have work groups that are for each of the different communication and responsibility and all those, the four main categories. And we're working together to put together little toolkits so that faculty can, number one, understand some of the language that's in those college-wide learning outcomes, because some of the terms are difficult if you're not sure, there's a lot that go into those. And so making sure everybody understands them, and then how we can show that in our courses if we are going to try to align with those college-wide learning outcomes. How does it look? How do the program the program level learning outcomes, how do they relate, or how do they align? How do the course level outcomes align? And then how do the modules, our individual modules in our courses, and then all the way down to the assessments. So we're going to be starting assessments soon. After we finish these indicators, we're going to be moving on to our main focus is going to be on assessments. And so this is that crucial connecting piece for your course level outcome all the way down, and I guess all the way up and all the way down. So our objective this week: align module level objectives with course level outcomes and clearly communicate their relationship to create a harmonious, goal-focused learning experience. Harmonious. I will give you all the code later on. And speaking of alignment, this one we're talking about communication because it's communicating this to our students. And then if you're doing the skill standards, this is B4, implementing curriculum and assessment. And our course learning outcome here would be alignment of objectives and outcomes. So you can see that direct alignment here, straight from the CWLO down to the PLO, down to the CLO, and then to the weekly objective. So that's what we're talking about, alignment. Oh, so before I go in there into this, we were talking about something, the end of the quarter, and how students are sometimes doing work that is like we want the instructors to have them do it one way, but they're finding a different way to do it. And I wanted to talk about that just to add in a couple of my own sense to the conversation. The big problem with the ChatGPT is now that we're we like to focus and what we're saying in a lot of the like, talks that we're giving and trainings that we're making is, we have this tool now that we can use to do a lot of this kind of work, um, which is very helpful when the tools work and people know how to use it in that certain way. So, brainstorming a list of ideas for something, you can have that, you can do that on your own, and that's going to take a while. Um, and sometimes you're not going to come up with the idea that you want. Or you can have ChatGPT give you a list of 5 different ideas, and then once you see the list, you can say, "Oh, I like that. I don't like that. This could work," and then it kind of helps to organize some of the different ideas for you. But then I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago, ChatGPT was down and I wanted to use it for something and it was down. So then I had to, oh, okay, I guess I got to do this the old-fashioned way. And your story, Kelly, brought that up to me. Your student said you said your student was using a tool that did 75% of the work. Is that right?
Yeah, yep. I
But
gave
then,
them a tool that was more uh, lower level. They had to build the bootloader. They had to do specific tasks with the
uh,
tool I gave them.
yeah.
The tool he had did that for you.
Oh,
And I was like,
did all the groundwork.
oh, yep. So then I knew, okay, now I'm going to miss these, getting them to these outcomes if I allow them to only use that tool. So I
Mm,
told them, I want you to do it my way first,
mhm,
and then you can do it the other way and submit it for extra credit,
mhm.
which they all did. And then they understood what this other tool was doing for them. So they
No.
still, I still made sure that they met those outcomes. And, we hit all the objectives, they met the outcomes. But I didn't expect that to happen. And when it happened, I was like, uh, uh, okay, what do I do now? And I was hoping the other students didn't catch it, but they caught it real quick. They're smart. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's um so yeah, that's what I was talking about for the tools. I mean, the way that you're saying that you made them do it your way, I know sometimes can feel heavy-handed, especially they're like, why would I do it this way if I could just use this tool? But then the
Yeah.
point I was trying to say is when the tool's not there, when ChatGPT is down, or when you don't have access to this, or
Yep.
when you're in the field and you can't get that tool, what are you going to do? It's important
It's
to learn the process.
Yes, it's funny in this course that we're building a house, right? I use the same analogy in my class for the Linux operating system, and I talk about the kernel being the foundation of the house, right?
Mm,
And if the kernel, if there's a flaw in it, the foundation's going to crumble. So with Linux, you can build a brand new foundation, somewhere else on your property, pick the house up and move it, and still have it usable. The thing is that they were missing that part with this new tool. They were missing that foundational knowledge.
mm,
So I was lucky enough to go back to that story I shared with them and say, remember in the story we talked about the foundation? Well, if you use that tool, the new tool, you are gonna miss the bootloader portion of it that actually sits on that foundation.
mm.
And when I did that, they go, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll do it your way first." And a lot of them told me like they saw it, like it was clear as day. Once I said that, they understood why I wanted them to do it my way first, and then they could do it the other way, even though they thought the other way was cool.
Yeah,
It was way easier
well,
to use
easier.
than
Yeah,
mine. Yeah. Yep.
that's what I was thinking. We always go gravitate towards whatever is the easiest thing, which makes sense from a.
It's not always the right thing, though, especially in
It's
IT.
true.
What I teach, and I'm sure a lot of other industries, it's not always the right way to do it, the easiest way.
Well, I've read a lot of books and research about how uh, the when you learn something, it has to be a little bit difficult. Like, you don't want to. There's like a sweet spot where it's like if it's too, up here. Like I'm taking a course on AI right now, and they're talking about machine learning, and I'm sure for y'all, I just put my hand up. That's funny. They're talking about machine learning and bringing up a bunch of like statistical, there was once, I'll see if I can find the sentence. I didn't know anything at all it was saying in the sentence, like as a whole. And like I knew what each of the words meant individually, but like putting them all together, I just couldn't figure it out. So
Right.
I had ChatGPT try to help explain it to me using an analogy, which I think
That's
I
cool.
I try that here with our little Simon guy and our building the house as an analogy. But you just said also that it was very helpful for your students to have that analogy of
I the cat knows this. I tell a lot of stories in my class, and my students love them because I try to break things down into just common terms.
Mhm.
And I say most students love them. Um, but it makes it more, uh, I would say, relatable to them. You know.
Mhm.
But having a tool that skips like the whole foundation, it's great if you're like I told him, at the data center, if I had to like recover a drive real quick, that's a great way to build it. I could do it quickly. But if I run into a trouble booting that thing up, I better know enough about the bootloader to fix it.
That's right.
And that's why I want you to use this other tool, because this other tool is going to show you that.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna speaking of doing the work and using some tools. I have a plan for how I see this time with us here together today. I want to just go over the indicator very quickly, and then we can look at the different ways that you can submit for this assignment. So I'm gonna try this one. Sometimes I'll give you all a chance to read it, but I'll go ahead and read this one for you. So you don't need to read. You can just look out wherever you all are and just listen here. So this one is the indicator is the module level objectives align with the course level outcomes. Once again, we talked about all this stuff uh, last week, and it's kind of been I'm sure it's been mentioned somewhere during this section 2 of um, the Washington Course Design Checklist. It says here, ensuring that module level objectives in your course support or align with your course level goals is the first step in making sure all of the major components in your course are working together like a well-oiled machine to help students achieve their course outcomes. Alignment between these elements exists when achievement of module level objectives provides students with a clearly defined path to mastering course level outcomes and opportunities to practice their new learned skills. Yep, so that one we already have kind of hinted at that. Alignment is an essential component of the backward design process in which you start by asking what students should be able to do by the end of the course and then work backward to set unit learning goals, plan authentic assessments, and select appropriate supporting content and technologies. Backward design, once again, something that we talked about. And I gave this link last week for those people who were not here last week. This is the coursemapguide.com, and they talk about backward design in this section, in the getting started backward design. Starting with the end in mind. Designing your course with the end in mind will help you to avoid the pitfalls of including too much content and learning activities that do not support the overarching goals of the course. Your course map should include the course level outcomes, module level objectives, assessment, content, and selected technologies, and all other activities in your course. Including each of these intentionally selected elements in your map will help you visualize alignment in your course. So, that's what I wanted to focus on in this lesson today, is filling out a course map. So before we do that, do you all have a course map for your courses? Any of your courses, all of them, none of them?
We
I
we have them
do.
for all. Yeah. Yep.
Kelly has them all, Tracy has them all. Can y'all, do you mind sharing them in the chat if you have them, if there's able to be
I
attached?
don't I don't know if I'll try to get to them.
Okay.
They're up on Teams. So let me see if I can get to them. Teams and I don't get along.
Teams doesn't get along with anybody.
I think I have one handy. It's let's see. Just working on a course today. I don't know that I can share it in the chat, but I could share my screen.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see what it
Okay.
looks like.
It's also incomplete because I got in the weeds or behind, but it's okay.
Sometimes it's good to get super detailed, but don't get lost.
Yeah. So I have mine in an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, look at this. This
Yeah.
looks nice.
Yeah. So this was it's the class that I'm teaching next quarter,
Okay.
that I taught last winter, so that's why I brought it up and I'm revising things a little bit. But these are my so I have my course objectives here, and I want to go through and I'll align the modules and the units that go through the different course objectives.
Mhm.
At some point, that's kind of my ultimate goal. And then this is the first module, and these are my module level objectives. And I have what level those are and what units they're covered in, and my assignments, which this is what I'm revising because um, last winter quarter was the first quarter I taught, and so I very heavily relied on the textbook, which I'm backing away from a little bit.
Nice.
And then my assessment, it's, as you can see, incomplete, but I did kind of map it out for at least um, the first several modules. So that's how I've done it.
Mm, this is fantastic.
Well, thank
The
you.
level, it says level of objective.
Hmm.
What are those three levels?
So my um uh profession or my industry, the education, the accreditor for my program is what I'm trying. That's what I mean.
Mhm.
They have they've taken blooms and then they've grouped them into two, basically. So the lower level being the comprehension and understanding is level one. And then level two is application
Mm,
and
three is
uh,
mastery. Something.
well level yeah, well I can now I'm trying to even remember what the middle two are. It's application and uh I can't remember. But then level three being synthesis and
Oh,
evaluation. So they've just taken blooms and they've consolidated it into three groups rather than the six. So I just went with that because that's what the accreditor uses.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. This looks great. So that's for just one of your classes.
Yeah.
Do you have something like that for all of them?
Um, I have something like that for most of them. Yeah, I got, it was this past quarter that I just didn't get around to doing. So going forward, I plan to do that. But I think I, I'm still fiddling with what my module objectives are because I feel like it's a lot of work to put into something up front if you're just going to change it every year.
Oh, yeah.
And since I am still really new, I'm changing things a lot. So I think once I get to some more stable module objectives, it will be easier to maintain.
Yeah, it's a lot of work up front, and I think that's but as you're saying, if you put in that good work up front, then you can use it for a while.
Yeah.
You don't have to adjust it.
Right. And then if the module objectives are stable, I feel like it's easier to change what the assignments and the assessment piece of it is
Mm-hmm.
rather than,
Because
I don't know.
you have the goal that they're trying to reach.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
As to Kelly's point, if for some reason that, that's the the tool could be one of their ways to reach the outcome, but as long as they're still reaching
Yeah.
knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
Kelly, did you have yours, or Kat, do you have any
I do. I have, let me
share?
see if I can share this. I just realized I don't know if this is the current one because we made a couple minor changes. But what we did is we worked with Snowy and put it into a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
which it breaks down each course and then the outcome of each course. And then we have another document that points it to the program. So it takes these and then points them over to the so these are courses, then it goes to the programs, and then those go up to the college, but we're working backwards.
Yeah. What
So
about
like
so these are your CLOs
outcomes,
for each of these courses.
correct.
Do you have your module objectives for any of those courses?
um we do for some, but like 101 and 105 got merged to 106. So that has to be redone. But I don't seem to have access to them because Don, as a team, we each take a piece of responsibility, and I don't want to throw Don under the bus, but I don't have rights to it right now. I'm looking for it, but I can't get it. It won't open for me.
Dang.
So we do have it. I just can't open it.
Oh, okay. Oh, and
Yeah.
this is what you all worked on in
Yeah.
outcomes and assessment day. Gotcha.
Correct. And we
Okay.
got into some. Whoops. We got into the weeds a little bit, but I um I can't open the damn thing. I don't
Mm,
have rights. I'll have to ask them to open it for me. But
okay.
yes, we do have it. So we took this, got all the outcomes. Then we did a document which took these uh, each module. So
Hmm.
each course has one. Then we documented that to this. This documents to the program. The program documents to the college.
Okay, you got that alignment there.
Hmm.
Yeah, very nice. Um, okay, hold on. I'm gonna do this real quick. We are still seeing your screen, just to let you know
Oh,
that.
mine? Well, great. That's not good.
You
Now,
gotta,
now I'm gonna have to take all your machine. No, I'm kidding. If your computer doesn't start in the morning, it's not my fault.
oh, fair enough. Um, that's funny. Okay, I have something here for you all.
Oh,
Uh, if y'all can look at my screen, it's a little blurry. It's two words. The first letter is uppercase on both words.
cool.
Okay, I'll keep that up there for another second.
Is it? There's a space between the two words.
Yes, there's a space.
Okay, just verifying.
And
I've got an example,
yes, go ahead.
but it might be a little old
That's
just
fine.
because we like change every quarter.
That's fine.
Almost, I
Yeah,
feel like.
I'm not looking for like the most current. I just want to look at like a couple of different options of how people are doing it.
Can you get
So,
into it, Kat?
yeah. So we are aligning with the Center of Excellence. Um,
Oh yeah, that
and
I can't open that. Anyway,
no,
I'm sorry. We'll fix that later.
Oh, look at this.
but it basically,
Okay.
we have to have a knowledge unit from that, and then we have to work backwards. So it's kind of like adding another layer to everything that we already are doing as part of the college stuff. So we're aligning to that and mapping it between the AAST, AAT degree, and then also the bachelor program. and then how that aligns to the knowledge units. And then this one gets further broken down into something similar to what Tracy showed
Mhm.
with the assignments and the course outcomes
Yeah.
and the weekly breakdown of that as well. But this is a bigger overview of just more of the program part of it.
Yeah.
And then
And this is for the Center of Academic Excellence. We're trying to apply to be a CAE, Center of Academic Excellence for the
but
NSA.
they shifted and there's a lot of
Yeah.
changes that came down the pipeline. So we kind of
Yes.
had and not only with the program and the college, but there's also in the industry there was a huge shift. So a lot of these knowledge units have
We're
changed
updated. Yeah,
and
we have to
updated.
redo them
That's
Yeah.
annoying.
again for the third time.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a
and,
lot of
and
work.
and as each, class is added or subtracted or whatever, it has to be kind of updated there as well. So, but it's also part of that whole process where we're continually updating in every 3 years and stuff. So, and maintaining that fun stuff,
Important to stay current, but also so much work to stay current.
a ton. Yeah, absolutely.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Are a lot of the programs on campus are they are their outcomes dictated by their industry, like certifications or like the CAE, like what we're dealing with? Yeah, I know healthcare would be that, right?
I think Tracy was just saying that hers are aligned to her accreditor.
So
And then I know I recently went out to uh South Hill, and I know they were talking about how AMT is also um aviation maintenance is also aligned
would
to industry.
would there ever be an incident or a situation where the course level, program level outcomes go beyond the college level? Or I don't see how they could. I mean, I guess they could.
I
I
don't
would
understand what you mean by going beyond the college.
well, the college outcomes are pretty standardized where for example, not really college but program level. So like I teach a class right now that's constantly being updated. So my outcomes may change quarter to quarter or twice a year, like Kat was saying. My outcomes would go above and beyond what the program level outcomes would be. So I would have to then go in and change the program level outcomes. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Mm,
would there be where's that line where you go, okay, this course, the outcomes, the things I'm teaching go above and beyond. Like when we did the BAS program, I realized that some of the stuff I was teaching was higher level.
mhm,
And then I started questioning, do I need to teach that? Because they teach
mhm.
that at other schools at a different level. Does that happen often? And if it does happen, do you adjust the program outcomes or the course outcomes? Like,
Mm,
I don't want to say this word. Do I lighten the program or the course to
mhm.
then just meet, the requirements of the program? Or can I go over that? And if I do go over that, then I need to adjust the program outcomes. Do you get
Mm,
what I'm saying?
I
Like
do.
different
So,
levels, 200 level, 300 level classes, 400 level classes.
Kelly,
Yeah.
I have some, I think, well, insight on that.
Cool.
There is an associate's level medical laboratory technician program in Oregon that has amazing outcomes as far as board exam pass rates and like student success after the program, but they routinely do not have enough students to run the program because their program is a year longer than any other associate level
Uh,
program, and it's because they're teaching it at a bachelor's level program.
gotcha.
So I think, I mean, I like what you said about maybe I need to go back and evaluate whether or not this is something I need to teach. And I actually call that out to my students. I'll say, um, you're asking great questions and I'm happy to answer them. And I'm just letting you know that those questions are more appropriate for a bachelor's level program.
Mm,
Gotcha. Yeah,
And I,
I totally get it. When we did
Yeah.
the BAS, it kind of woke me up. Like, I teach a cloud class, and I was going beyond what I needed to,
Mhm.
honestly. And I saw that once the BAS was being built, it woke me up, and I had to like reevaluate my outcomes and I was meeting the outcomes, but I was going beyond that. And
Hmm.
that was the issue. So
Hmm.
I adjusted it. I adjusted it down. But is there a time you can adjust it up? But it sounds like if you do, you may have more time, which then affects funding, which affects student.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
get okay. I get it.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things. I mean, now I'm thinking because I do feel like there is some stuff where I think, well, it's really important. I have found it very important to know what I can cut completely out of my program.
Mm,
Right,
I
right.
because especially because I mean, it's a fast program, and students on surveys for years have been saying it's too much information too fast. And so when I find
wow.
something that I can cut, I'm like, cool, that took an entire week out of this class that I don't have to spend time on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but it is one of those things that I turn to my advisory committee for. I'm like, hey, what do you expect the MLT students coming out of my program to know this?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
So
laughing because our advisory committee says teach them everything.
I know
We
mine's
want
kind
them
of
to know
mine
everything.
mine don't talk, so I ask these questions and there's no answer.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And yeah, how often do the program level outcomes change? Would you say, if based on y'all's experience here, like do you change them every 5 years, every 10 years, every
Cat.
Before
3?
Snowy came along, we were changing them every 3 to 6 months because somebody else new would come in and tell us we were doing it wrong.
Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
So
that's true.
we had initially had about 9 program outcomes, and then the wording in it was getting shifted. And uh, they suggested that we, lessen the program outcomes to like 6, I think it was, right, Kelly?
Yeah, I don't remember.
And
All I
then
remember
the
was,
words being used, they wanted to have Bloom's taxonomy, but it didn't describe, and that's why I brought what I did up to you the other day.
yeah.
The Bloom's taxonomy words did not describe the STEM related activities and objectives that we were trying to
Oh,
achieve.
don't say objectives because that's where
Well,
we got in
I know
trouble. Our
I'm
outcomes were
throwing out
written
these
as
words.
objectives, and our objectives were written as outcomes. And then we had to change them all. And then that person left, and the next person that came in made us flip it back.
Yeah, and that's why I love Snowy, and I am so grateful
I
for
do
her
too.
because
I do
my
too.
goodness, she's really stuck in there and she gets it. Like, I mean, we're not like she takes it in as far as, she doesn't have to be an expert to know, okay, I'm understanding what you're saying. How about you try this, that, or the other? And we
Mhm.
haven't changed them since that one before Snowy had left. So I think that's been about, or before Snowy came, which I think that's
Right.
been about what, 7 years?
We've made when the bass came in is the last time we really made any major changes
Mm.
because
So
of
that
the
would have been
bachelors.
2019.
But they're evaluated. We're evaluated on a regular basis, trust me.
Yeah, yeah.
Course
Mhm.
level, program level, we are evaluated um, every quarter. We turn in a report every quarter to Snowy,
But
Right.
yeah, but I really
each of
felt like
us.
the program level outcomes that we had really described the various different areas. I know that we merged some of them appropriately.
Yeah.
But I felt like some of those were there are gaps in there, but I haven't said anything because it's such a pain to like do everything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another
But
thing to
so they're
do.
actually learning above and beyond what our program outcomes are. It's just not being aligned with the program with one of those
Well,
there.
and also the bachelors pick some of that up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
Mm.
we introduce it, and then if they go to the bachelors, then they'll get it reinforced and mastered on some of
Mm.
those.
Okay. All right. Well, nice conversation. Thank you all for sharing about your programs and and your thoughts on some of the things happening related to outcomes and all that. I wanted to look at this document here for the last I guess we got 20 more minutes here. This one is, like I said, from the course map guide, which is a roadmap for your course. Lots of good information here if you go into these individual pages, and everything is presented in a pretty sleek and intuitive way. But this template here is pretty nice if you don't have something already, in place. And it sounds like all of y'all have stuff and systems that you already use. But I did want to go over this one with you, just in case you were looking for something else, or maybe there's something that you want to keep the format the same, but maybe you're missing well, I think most of y'all have assessments and rubrics, but maybe the instructional materials, or I guess you would also have activities. I'm basing it off of the one Tracy was showing, and it looks very similar to the way that Tracy has her set up. But I like this document because here at the top, you've got kind of the main information that you need. And then, of course, it's got the materials here. But then also, I like the way that this is set up here, where you've got your modules, then you've got how they course learning outcomes are related, and so which ones are focused on. It goes specifically, like they would be matched up with the Roman numeral that you would use up here. And then you've got the module learning outcomes right here. And then, as I said, you've got your assessments. So if you're doing a discussion, what's the homework going to be? And then the activities. So it's got a simulation. And then the instructional materials that they would need to have. And I like it just seemed very intuitive the way. And it also has these descriptions in the box here in case you weren't sure about how to do those. So,
Some of
yeah.
the curriculum I use, and I know Kat can attest to this too, these are already broke down for us. We literally just download this document. So for example, we use an online product called Test Out, because it gives the students the material, and it gives them the lab space online, so we don't have to use college resources, and they get a discount. They buy it, they have access for a year and a half, but they break down each module and the outcomes, and then we can copy this and plug it into our document. And then what we do is every quarter, Snowy has us pick a class, and we evaluate them and see how we're meeting those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's so nice when you have if you're using a textbook, or if you're using some sort of online tool where
Yeah.
it has everything mapped out.
Not
Because
all my classes are like that though, but I'm saying there's a chunk of them that are like that.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say my Linux 2 class, I wrote that class, so I wrote the outcomes. I developed that class, but like my Vert and Cloud class, I use material from a company called Ascend, and they give me a document like that. And matter of fact, it looks very close to that, very similar. So
Yeah, this
then
is a
I
pretty
can
standard
help try
one.
to measure it. I like this. I like this a lot.
So what I was gonna do, since we're talking about tools as well, and I mentioned ChatGPT earlier, it takes a lot of time if you're gonna go through your course and try to plug in everything for this. If you have something like for this course, if I go into the syllabus, I mean, all of y'all have syllabi, right? And hopefully in your syllabi, it has a lot of the information that you need in your course. What you can do is you can take this document here, and then you can take your syllabi, and then you could take those into ChatGPT and have it fill out this document for you. So I was going to give you all an example about
I
how I
like
would
that.
do that.
I
Um,
like that.
yeah, because and then this thing is great for you, but as Kelly you were talking about last time, um, might also be helpful for your students to if they could have access to something
Right.
where they know exactly, like it's that transparency aspect where they know exactly what they're doing, what needs to be done, when, all that kind of stuff. Um, it runs the risk of having students kind of working ahead, but I don't know. I feel like the benefits outweigh the negative aspects of it. So here's what I would do for this one. And if y'all have GPT and you want to try it for yourself, feel free to do the same. And for anybody watching the recording, if you want to follow this kind of thing as well. So whenever I'm making my prompts in ChatGPT, I always like to give it a role first. So I'm going to say we are always experts at what we do. Expert curriculum designers and instructors for a course called mine is the framework for faculty and student success. And then I'll say, I'm going to give it a little bit of context. We are creating a curriculum map. I will give you the actually, we're not doing a curriculum map, we're making a course map. I will give you the course map template and the syllabus for the course. Now this is where you would, so that's the context. Then I'm going to give it a task. I'm going to say what am I doing? Create the fill in the template. You should know, but sometimes you have to be super specific with ChatGPT. Fill in the course map template with the information from my course. Okay, and then I'm gonna give it here's the course map template. Template. I can't spell today. So I'll just Control A, this one, select everything, copy. I like to put things in parentheses, not parentheses, quotation marks, just so that it knows everything's in one thing. And then this is my syllabus. So I'm just gonna select from here and then go all the way down to the end of my syllabus. Okay, and then just gonna go through, and usually if there's any sort of information that I feel like shouldn't go into the system, like an email address, probably take that off. And then where else? There's a guy in here. Does it have any names? Telephone numbers. I think that looks good. Okay, and then I'm gonna send it away and see what it comes up with.
Well, you don't want people calling about windows or siding on your phone number?
They'll need that information.
Uh,
Oh, this is called, okay, this is kind of cool. This is a new thing. I haven't really messed around with this, but make it shorter, add an emoji, translate to kindergartner, ChatGPT can do it all right in the right on the canvas. This is my canvas here. All right, so let's see. Course name. Oh, somehow I missed my name. But it's got my name. Unless I trained it on my name already. Unless it knows who I am. I did say we are. Did I not take my name out? Maybe I think I left it in. Anyways, okay, so I've got my course learning outcomes, reflects on current teaching practices, create and implement diversity. Okay. I wonder if this is what it says in the thing, because I think I have different course learning outcomes in the course. Click on. Oh, okay. These are the course learning outcomes. I think I have the abbreviated versions in that in each of the lessons of the alignment section. All right, resources here. Okay, module 1. We've got course learning outcomes 1 and 3. We've got module learning outcomes. Describe the importance of cultivating a sense of belonging. Yep, I remember that. Identify strategies. It seems like it's following. Oh, it's giving 2 things for each one. So what I can do here, I don't like this format, so I want it to be, can you use the same table format for the modules? I might be able to make it so instead of having it just in this list, and if I were to use that document, I would have to go and copy and paste everything into the list. Whoa, look at this. Oh yeah, here we go. Now
There it goes. Yeah.
this is crazy. I've never seen this thing. They're always oh, ChatGPT is like doing this thing now. It's like the 12 days of Christmas. It looks like they're updating everything.
The 12 drones of New Jersey. I mean,
12 drones of the apocalypse.
yeah.
So I think it's still doing it. I see these lines here usually means that it's trying to put it in a table, but I just think that, oh, what? Oh, it just, I think took a lot of power for them to do that. No, this is silly. I don't like this thing
It
anymore.
only took module. Yeah, it's what?
I wanted just a regular chat. How do I do this in regular chat now? Can this just be regular chat? See if that works. Sure, if you like to discuss. No, I'm just gonna, I'll just close out of it. Oh, okay, good. Now, can you do the table for module 1? We'll do just module 1. Okay. So, oh my God. I just opened it up again. Okay, well, I don't actually think if you don't have ChatGPT, some sort of premium version, I don't know if you would even have access to this canvas, but it looks like it still needs some work here. Usually when I just use the regular one, it won't do it where it misses these sections. And then you would be able to copy and paste this whole section into here. So I would be able to go and then paste this one into here. And then of course I would need to, oh, actually, is that it? No, it's not working out perfectly. So it still would probably need a little bit of more prompting. If it's, then the prompt would simply be like, it's not putting all the information in the module learning outcomes, or it's not putting in everything in the assessments, just like saying what's wrong. And then
Yeah.
it sometimes will fix it so that everything is good, and then you can just, I like getting it in here, you know, like having it do all the work of the typing and organizing and all that stuff. And then later on, I would come in and actually make sure that this is what we're supposed to be learning in this module, or these are the assessments that we're using.
What
And then
version
just
of
double check.
ChatGPT do you use?
Man,
Is
looks like
it
I'm in 4.0 right now.
do you have plus or
Yeah, I've got the
okay.
I think it's called Plus, yeah.
Yeah, the
Not the
pro is.
$200 one,
I
but
was gonna say that's
$200.
pro. That's $200 a month.
200 bucks a month is
Wow.
insane
Yep. They're gonna
for
get us
an app
hooked.
that's claiming to democratize
Yeah.
education and access. Okay, so the reason that I was showing that as a way to do this is because for our assignment, this one, it says use a course map worksheet. But like I said, if you've done it already, another method of your choice to map your course and identify any gaps or redundancies in the curriculum. And then here we've got reviewing the objectives, building the module level outcomes in the outcomes tool in Canvas. This is something that Tracy has experience with, and something that we're at the TLC going to look into and see if it's something that we would provide training and help for y'all to use outcomes, because the outcomes tool is actually pretty cool, and it gives you a nice view of outcome mastery from your students. But it's a little tricky to use. Surveys or discussions to ask students for feedback. I don't know if y'all gave any surveys. I know we have the Settle, which is kind of the official one, but also surveys just, to see from your students how, like, what was their favorite part of the course, or what do they still have trouble with, something like that.
They either love you or hate you.
Do you love me or do you hate me?
We love you, Ronald.
No, thanks, Kelly.
I'm talking about my students.
Yeah, that would be a funny question on there. So okay, and then they've got the digital taxonomy here to check it. The second indicator, just to talk about it very briefly, because we only have a couple of minutes left here. It's a lot of the same stuff here, and a little bit more. I like this analogy here of planning a long distance road trip and using the course map as kind of like your roadmap for your course. And then we also have graphic syllabi that kind of show that kind of roadmap, which is a nice visual for the students, but we don't have time to talk about that today. Actually, I think these are the same thing. So if you're using, oh no, these are, I need to update these. These are 2.3A. So these need to be 2.3B. So hold off on doing this one, at least for the next 5 minutes. I don't expect y'all to be going in there and doing that right now, but by the time you're watching this recording, those will be updated. But clear explanations with the relationship. So why are you doing this? And how specifically is it being done? And so y'all can go in there and look at that kind of stuff. But I don't want to keep y'all past the hour. I do want to thank the people who are here for coming. I appreciate you all. And happy holidays, if I don't see you again.
Same to you. Have a great
Thank you. You too.
break.
Yeah, you too.
See you guys. Bye-bye. Bye, Tracy.